Welcome to the Q.A.C. Team podcast, where we dive deep into the journeys of inspiring business owners, bringing you insights and challenges from the entrepreneurs who are shaping our world. Join us as we explore their paths to success. Now here's your host, Charles Luttrell.
Good afternoon, listeners. I'm here in Delaware again, and I'm at Helen's Sausage. I'm here with Cliff. Cliff, welcome to the Q.A.C. Team podcast.
Thanks for having me, Chuck.
Thanks for coming on. How you doing today?
Doing well, thanks. And yourself?
Awesome. Doing pretty good. I appreciate you. This is interesting because this is the first time in all my podcasts that I've actually am able to do it the way I want to do it, where we're actually live in your location.
Nice. Well, we're good to have you. I wish we were still open, but we'll get you here while we're open here.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't wait to try your food.
Yeah, absolutely.
So go ahead and tell our audience a little bit more about who you are and what you do.
Sure. So my name's Cliff Murphy. I am the grandson of Helen. Helen Ackerbach was my grandmother. She actually just passed away last year, unfortunately.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, she started our original location in Smyrna about 41 years ago now.
Oh, wow.
So back in '83. Now, she had worked there before. I think it was like a little gas station or whatnot, but she ended up buying out the owner and kind of turned it into Helen's Sausage House. And she kind of retired in the late 90s, and my dad, Butch, took over for a little bit, and then about a year or two ago, I told him that whenever he was ready to retire, I'd kind of step in and help take the reins over and make sure he'd have a chance to relax and whatnot. So he said, "Good to go." Took over, and then when we switched things over, my fiance reached out to a few different PR people that she knew in the area for the news journal and whatnot, and got her name out there to say, hey, Helen's grandson's taking over the business. He's going to keep it going. And they asked me if I was ever interested in expanding, and I had mentioned that, I was definitely going to look to expand up here in Newark and possibly down the beach someday. But I thought that was like a 3 to 5 year goal. Well, like 2 weeks later, somebody reached out and said that they had a spot up here that I should look at, and lo and behold, here we are in Newark, and that's in that spot. So
that's great.
Yeah, we opened back in October, and I'm glad I took over when I did, because my father ended up passing away last year as well.
Oh,
so
man, sorry to
we
hear
lost
that.
Helen
Jeez.
in August, and my dad in November. So it was back-to-back gut punches. But,
yeah.
We got this one open. My nephew's running down south and keeping that one going. So here we are.
Here you are.
Yeah.
That's great, man. So tell us a little bit, why did you decide to be a business owner yourself? Tell us a little bit of background about that.
Sure. So I worked at a local bank for about 18 years before here. Before that, I was in the military. But, while my dad was running things, I had always kind of had, aspirations to take it over for him when I was younger. And I had a few different ideas. A buddy of mine worked at a local joint, and we talked about merging the two and having, a breakfast lunch hybrid kind of thing, but that never really worked out. But like I said, my dad worked really, really hard for 30 plus years here, and I just knew that he was ready to retire.
Yeah.
And so I told him, I said, hey, I'm ready to jump in whenever you're ready, and wanted to kind of not make it my own. I wanted to keep it going as is, but kind of bring it into the the next century. I mean, it was cash only for the longest time, which is great and whatnot, but it does kind of limit your sales ability, because so many people use card these days that they would only bring so much cash with them, or they'd have to leave the store and come back if the ATM was down, and it just got to be too much of a pain in the neck. So we started taking cards and whatnot up here, and Apple Pay, and so we brought that into the one down south and kept that going. So just little things like that. I've got some social media presence, not a whole lot, but we've got each store has its own page on Facebook and Instagram, and now TikTok. So
join in on the TikTok.
Joined in on some TikTok. I'm not doing any dancing, at least not yet. But,
no, me either.
But we try to put out some funny stuff. And,
I want to find you on TikTok. I don't think I found you yet on TikTok.
There's a Helen Sausage House Newark and a Helen Sausage House Smyrna page. So
sweet.
My nephew and I were having a little internal competition who could get some more followers. So
that's great.
He's got a big head start on me because they've got such a big following for the Smyrna store already. But, I'll catch them pretty quick.
Well, we're going to have to help you with that.
Yeah,
Q.A.C. team about to help you with that.
Give me a little boost. So.
Absolutely. That's great.
But yeah, this used to be the old Post House, which was a big breakfast spot back in the day, and so it kind of fit the atmosphere of what we wanted to do. Have a local homegrown breakfast spot that's a little hole in the wall, and it's not some big commercial place. So we kept a lot of it the same. I had to change a little bit of it, obviously, but people enjoyed that it was the Post House was kind of reanimated here. So
yeah, and it's a cozy little place. I like it.
Yeah,
it's
nice.
The atmosphere looks cool.
Yeah,
Can't wait to come in when it's buzzing and cooking food.
We'll get the fryers up. We'll get the
fryers running.
We'll get you a sausage sandwich and a pork chop sandwich. Get you some scrapple and bacon as well. So,
nice, absolutely.
Yeah. We're known for the sausage sandwich. So.
Yeah, I was looking at that when I looked at your site. It was all about the sausages, so I can't wait to.
It's a mild pork sausage. It's link sausage, so it's not patties. It's about the size of a hot dog. We put it on a soft steak roll.
Oh, okay.
And we normally do a fried egg on it if you want, and then cheese is always a popular option. A lot of people get fried peppers and onions on it as well. That was kind of Helen's specialty.
Oh man, that sounds good.
Pepper and onions. So yep.
Well, I'm definitely coming in.
Sounds good.
That's awesome. So I know we talked a little bit about you took over and about the history and the business and all. And the next question obviously is why did you choose your industry? But did you just fall into this? Was it something as a kid growing up? You just followed this, or how did you get into this industry?
So I mean,
just curious, what the trail was for that.
Yeah, this all started when I was a kid. My grandmother started it up, so I'd go down to her house and stay over for a night or two on the weekends when my parents were working, or if I wanted to spend time with my grandmother. So she'd, they down in Smyrna they open at 4, so she'd be in there at 1, 2 in the morning sometimes getting everything ready. So she'd not sneak out, but she'd be out while I'm still sleeping. My grandfather would come back and watch me, and then she'd wake up and give me a call and say, hey, do you want breakfast? And she'd bring me down a sandwich or bring me in and sit me on a stool, and I'd be working the register as a little kid or helping her stock sodas, that kind of stuff. So It was always kind of ingrained in me to work at the store.
Yeah. That's great.
I've been doing it all my life. So.
All your life. Man,
yeah, so.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. So the next question is, what are some of the challenges that you faced or you have faced as you took over and as things were progressing through taking over from your grandmother and then your father? Tell us some of the challenges that you faced.
I think the biggest challenge that we've faced is that people don't like change. They want it to stay the same, and we've done our best to do that. People think that it changes anyway, even though we've kept everything the same. I haven't changed, especially down in Smyrna. We changed the grill, but only because we had to. When the health department got word that we changed ownership, they made us make a few changes, so we had to make a few changes. But the basic premise is all still the same. The meat is still the same. The grease is still the same. The way we cook it is still the same. The time, the ingredients that we use, all that kind of stuff is all the same. But people just insist that it's different, even though that it's not. But we're still doing just fine.
Yeah.
But up here, people are convinced that, it's just not the same as Smyrna. And again, we use all the same, use the same meat, use the same bread, everything.
And that's not fair, right? They're judging now, right? They're judging.
I try to do my best to swallow it down and just, assure them that we're doing everything the same. But, the mind does weird things to taste buds and whatnot. So it's in a different spot. You think it's going to taste different. But really, we try to do the same thing. A trouble thing at both locations is parking, because the one down south is so busy and it's such a tiny lot that people get very creative with their parking situation. So it's a challenge down there when it gets slammed. And then up here, it's the city of Newark, so it's a little tougher. Main Street can get really crowded. Spots are real limited.
Right.
I've got a few spots. You parked in one this afternoon that are free. But I try to get my staff to park there so that they don't have to pay for parking while they're here working, and they don't, lose money when they're trying to work for me. But
yeah, that's smart.
Generally, a couple of them, carpool or get rides in. So there's still usually 1 or 2 spots open that people can park in. But a lot of people complain that it's difficult to use the app or to pay at the kiosk. I don't think it's a challenge, but to some that it is, and it's 50 cents or whatever. So it's not too bad, but it's an extra step that people aren't used to doing. So that's been a challenge as well, is to try to ease people's concerns with that. So we do our best, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
So.
it is what it is, right? Well, I'm going to chime in and say, look, I've never had problems parking down here. I parked on the side street, on the main street. It's never been a problem.
Yeah.
So, come down and check them out. I mean, it's
just figuring out.
what you
Actually, each day before 8 o'clock, it's free. You can park anywhere on the street or in the back, and they're not coming around checking for plates or anything. So if you come here before 8, you're free.
There you go. Now, what about weekends?
Same thing.
Okay, so
before 8, you're good.
But so every day is the same, because that was my question. I was going to try to look up earlier when I was down here. Was thinking, what about the weekends? I wonder if I can park here for free. I got to figure that out.
I think
there's got to be free parking somewhere.
I think they stop checking around midnight or 1 o'clock is when they actually stop. But yeah, because I was here one night and with somebody, and they ended up getting a ticket, even though we were parked in my spots, because we were closed at the time. They gave us a ticket. I'm like, come on, these are spots, guy.
Right. That's a little tough.
They said, call us. We're open as long as there's people out there walking, giving tickets. We're open. So I ended up calling and whatnot.
Yeah, gotcha.
But,
So next question: What are your expectations in the next year or two? Do you have anything upcoming changes or working on anything? What are your expectations?
Hoping to just keep paying my bills. So, we'd love to keep growing.
Stay open. I
would love to start giving Smyrna a run for their money for, numbers coming in. So, just growing overall and showing the city of Newark what we have to offer. So we're still new to a lot of people. I don't think a whole lot of the students found us last year. We didn't open until mid-October, so school had already started and everybody kind of got into their patterns, into their rhythms. So I don't think we were on a lot of their radars. I tried doing night hours for a little bit during once winter session kicked off and into the spring, but it wasn't a big hit. So when the students come back in the fall, we'll try it again around then. It'll be nicer weather. Again, they'll be starting up their patterns, so we'll see if we can get in there that time.
So what kind of promo we can run?
Hook. So we've got like this little night window, so I don't have to have
that's great,
people that have
man.
been drinking all night. They don't have to come in the store. They can come right to the window. We can get them anything they want, and we do DoorDash and Grubhub too, so they can get it delivered. So
there you go.
I
like the window. That's very cool.
Yeah, that was what was it? DP Doe did that a long time ago. They had like a night window that they didn't let a bunch of people that have been drinking all night into the store. And so I
the rowdy crowds.
So when I came here, I went, oh, you know what? That'll be a perfect place for a night window. So I figured why not. So.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about how we can find you. How do we contact you?
Sure. So like I said, we've got all the social media pages. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We're on Yelp, Google. We're at 145 East Main Street in Newark, and the Smyrna location's at 4866 North DuPont Highway. We've got a phone number you can call, and like I said, we're on Newark is the only one that's currently on DoorDash and Grubhub. Smyrna's going to get there eventually. We were kind of working out the kinks, seeing how things worked out, and I think it's kind of necessary up here in the Newark area to have the delivery service. Not so much down Smyrna, but we've definitely had some requests for it down there. So DoorDash,
I can
Grubhub,
imagine. It's probably going to do good down there.
And you can order through our website, helensausage.com, or Yelp or Google. There's buttons for all that kind of stuff.
So Cliff, you have anything else that you want to add?
I appreciate the time, appreciate the opportunity to hop on the podcast. So I'll definitely get the word out there for you. I'll post links on my socials, and just hope to keep the tradition going and be next in line and maybe give it down to my kids. So
yeah, absolutely. That's awesome, man. Yeah. Again, thanks for coming on. Thanks for taking the time and letting me come in and meet with you live and actually do this in your place. Now,
I'm honored to be first. So.
Absolutely. And I can't wait to come in and try your food.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hopefully as soon as tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah. I won't be here tomorrow. I'm actually hopping on, and we're going to try to do some radio advertising tomorrow.
Oh, great. Great. Good luck. Good luck.
We're going to see how that goes.
Great.
But yeah, my team will be here. They'll take good care of you. Debbie and Savannah will be up front, and they'll make you feel right at home. They'll show you what's good. So.
I'll just tell them Cliff sent me.
Yeah, exactly.
And they'll straighten right up.
They'll be like, tell Cliff to shut up. No, I'm kidding.
That's awesome.
They're great.
So. Yeah, awesome. Cliff, thanks again so much for coming on, man. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks. You've been listening to the Q.A.C. Team Podcast with your host, Charles Luttrell. Connect with us on the web at qacteam.com, Facebook and Instagram at qac.team. Thanks for listening.